Hello my beautiful watchers. So recently I did a Q&A celebrating reaching 100,000 subscribers, and I noticed a large amount of the questions submitted were requests for advice on how to become a YouTuber, so I thought it might be beneficial to do a whole video on just that. Until recently, all my advice on getting started on YouTube could be summarized quite accurately by Shia LaBeouf. Just do it! And when I said that, what I meant was threefold. Firstly, by all means make a well-researched and well-planned out first video, but don't overthink for so long you never actually get around to doing anything. Worst comes to the worst, if you make something you really hate, you can delete that bad boy later and try again. There's no rule against that. Secondly, starting it also means finishing it, and to do that it is essential that you set deadlines for yourself. George Lucas once said, "A movie is never finished, only abandoned," and when you have no deadlines forced on you, it's very easy to just keep working on things indefinitely in search of some perfect end product that I promise you will never find and end up losing interest or faith in it before it's finished. So you really need to allot a certain amount of time for each project and try your best to stick to it. I actually got lucky with this when I first started out because I was immediately picked up by Channel Awesome, and one of the only rules they had back then was that you had to post at least 2 videos a month, thus forcing deadlines on me and kicking my ass into gear. A lot of people complained about that rule, but it was really one of the best things for my YouTube career. Once you start having some success on Patreon, that might provide you with a similar incentive, but we'll swing back to that later. And thirdly, don't obsess with finding exactly the right content for you on your first try. You're not tied into some sort of creative contract on YouTube. When I first started out, I wanted to be a video game reviewer before I thought of Lost in Adaptation. It is much easier to decide what you want to do when you've tried out a few different options to see what you enjoy and what people react to the most positively, and when you're first starting out, there really is little to no consequences for changing your main channel focus. Now, all of that is still true, and if you just want to do YouTube as a hobby, it's really all you need to know. However, since I went full-time doing YouTube 2-ish years ago, a lot of the advice I've been asked for has been increasingly more orientated towards becoming a professional YouTuber, and yeah, if that's your goal, there are a few other things you need to know. I have a few qualifiers I want to talk to you about before I get started on the heavy stuff, but I am aware you probably didn't click on a video with a title like this for a fucking essay, so if you want to skip ahead to the actual tips and harsh truths, here's the timecode. For everyone else, here's the fine print. The original title for this was just going to be Tips on Becoming a Professional YouTuber, but the more I thought about it, the more I realised that all the more positive aspects of it have been mentioned countless times by others. Choosing something you're passionate about as a subject, trying to be at least a little unique from all the other YouTubers out there, and not getting into it for the wrong reasons, i.e. wanting instant fame and fortune. But people tend to avoid mentioning the other, not necessarily as positive things that might be useful to know before getting into this. Probably for good reason. A lot of people are already hesitant about trying to become a professional YouTuber, and the stuff I'm about to talk about might well scare someone off who might otherwise have had a bright future on the website, and I absolutely hate that, but I feel it's important I be honest with you. Bottom line is, this video might be a little depressing if you're an aspiring content creator, so please bear that in mind before watching it. Don't get the wrong idea though, I'm not saying being a full-time YouTuber isn't all it's cracked up to be. Being a full-time YouTuber is fucking awesome! You get to have 100% creative control over all your projects, which is impossible in any other part of the industry. You get paid to do what you love, and people appreciate you for it. It's becoming a full-time YouTuber that's a bit of a slog. A lot of the advice I'm about to offer you is based on the assumption that you want to do something that's at least a little like what I do, i.e. reviews, critiques, sketches, that sort of thing, mainly because that's all I can really offer you expertise on, and I'm also not sure why you would be coming to me for advice if you wanted to do something radically different. Even with that in mind, please be aware that my tips will still not be universally applicable to everyone. There are exceptions to every rule, and of course there is a fair to good chance that I'm simply wrong in my observations of what is the best course of action for a professional YouTuber. There are thousands of far more successful YouTubers than I who might disagree with what I'm about to tell you, and I would highly advise you to listen to them. And finally, I feel I must beg your forgiveness in advance for how arrogant I'm no doubt going to sound throughout this video, because I'm going to have to point out things that have been successful for me personally, and that's going to sound very self-congratulatory. I can't really avoid this, but I don't have to like it. So, with the preamble finally done, here are my 10 tips and harsh truths about becoming a professional YouTuber. Please note they are not ranked in order of importance. Their importance will vary depending on the kind of channel you want to make. Okay, let's do this. Number 1, it's going to cost you money long before it makes you any money. Becoming a YouTuber is much like creating a new business or company. You're going to need some startup capital to make it work. This is probably the single most important fact that people need to understand and be prepared for, but alone it's meaningless, and to explain it, I need to jump right into tips 2 and 3. So, number 2, production value matters. Production value really matters. If you look at videos from the early days of YouTube, this might seem like utter bullshit, but that's kind of the point. It's not the early days of YouTube anymore. The one man or woman and their webcam show is regretfully a thing of the past. If you look at an artist who started out very low tech and are still around making videos today, you'll almost certainly see that they've upgraded pretty much every aspect of their production as high definition camcorders, studio lighting, and semi-professional editing software have become more readily available. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is you're going to have to buy some decent film equipment, if not immediately, then as soon as possible. Again, this is something that I personally was very lucky with because I was able to borrow most of my tech from a generous friend when I first started out, and then got my own stuff the second I was making money from it. A high definition camera is a must, be it a camcorder or a DSLR. Your webcam might claim it films in 1080 progressive, but you're just not going to get the quality you need from it to be taken seriously. A lot of the YouTube audience may not be consciously aware of this, but they have come to expect a certain semi-professional standard from the channels they subscribe to. Depending on what sort of videos you want to make, you might be able to get away with the standard run-of-the-mill editing software, but I wouldn't recommend it. It really helps to be able to throw in some special effects here and there when you want to stand out from the thousands of other people trying to do this. If right now you are thinking, well, there's not really any point in me buying all this stuff because I wouldn't have any idea how to use it, I present number 3, you really should get some sort of training in the basics of filmmaking and equipment. This might be one of the more controversial tips on this list, but hear me out. I'm not saying you have to spend 3 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a college degree in film production, but some sort of workshop or evening class will do wonders for your channel. I can't tell you how helpful actually knowing what I'm doing before I try to do it has been over the years. You know, when I say it like that, it almost sounds like a redundant tip. You can 100% learn by doing, I will not deny that. Some of the greatest YouTubers out there are entirely self-taught, but this will shave years off your learning curve. Again, people may not realize this, but they are drawn to channels that are shot and edited at a more professional level. Even successful YouTubers who look like they have a very casual setup still have perfect lighting and editing in all their videos. Number 4, do everything in your power to try to maintain a regular upload schedule. I cannot overstate the importance of uploading as close to like clockwork as possible. I've experienced both the rewards and consequences of doing and not doing this enough to talk with complete certainty on this matter. Please note that regular is not the same thing as daily or weekly. That would help, do not mistake me, that would definitely help, but if that's just not an option for you and you can only put out something like once a month, just try to make sure it's at least the same day each month. If you upload sporadically every few months, it doesn't matter how good your work is, you probably won't get very far on YouTube. Now, once again, I'm going to try to predict what you might be thinking, perhaps something akin to, the Dom, you gorgeous manhunk. Are people really going to care about that? If I'm putting out quality content, why would it matter to my subscribers when it's posted? To which my response is, they may not, but the thing is, I'm not talking about subscribers. I'm talking about
the algorithm.
Yes, the horrific, stupid, unfair, broken YouTube algorithm that rose the likes of Logan Paul and his brother to greatness while banishing genuinely amazing channels to obscurity because they dared to have words like transgender in the title of their videos. Just in case you're lucky enough to not be familiar with this crap, YouTube has become so big and so popular it has, by necessity, reached a level of automation that makes me pretty sure even the people running it have no real idea how it works or how to control it. Roughly 60 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. If everyone on the planet worked for them, it probably still wouldn't be enough to run it properly. If Skynet ever becomes a real thing, believe you me, YouTube will be its daddy. As a result of this, one of the single biggest factors in becoming successful on this website is making yourself appealing to the complex string of numbers that decide what gets recommended to people in the various moments it does that, and that complex and freakishly powerful string of numbers loves it a regular upload schedule. As you might have noticed in my videos, I like to refer to the algorithm as an unknowable Lovecraftian monster that you have to do various things to appease so it won't destroy you, and I totally stand by that metaphor. So, to simplify things to the extreme, if you have a regular upload schedule, the algorithm abomination will like you more and make your channel more successful. I don't like that we're all bending over backwards to make fucking coding happy either, but that's just the way things are right now. Number 5, be super aware of trending. This is, thankfully, still a key to success on YouTube with a human element to it. What trending boils down to is what is being searched for and watched the most at any given moment. I'm going to assume in 2018 that no one is surprised that YouTube is keeping meticulous records of everything we do online. The most obvious example of taking advantage of trending is watching, reviewing, and uploading a video about a movie or video game that's just been released as fast as possible. The quicker you can get your review up, the more it will be watched by people who are questioning if they want to see it for themselves, or who have seen it and want to see what others thought about it. There's also the added bonus that your video might come up in searches for the trailer and other related things. Trending can also be applied in a less direct manner. The subject of your video doesn't have to be exactly the same thing as what's causing a stir right now, it just has to be connected enough to take advantage of the interest being currently generated. Not to out myself as a manipulative bastard, but it's not a coincidence that I did the Harry Potter-a-thon the same year that Fantastic Beasts and The Cursed Child came out, so there was a huge resurgence in obsession with the Harry Potter phenomenon, and it is definitely not a coincidence that 2 years in a row I put myself through the hell that was the 50 Shades books in the same month that a new movie was coming out and everyone was topping up their rage towards it. I dare say the numbers on those episodes speak for themselves. Again, simplifying to the extreme, try to keep as aware as possible of things that are going to excite people and plan your video output accordingly to take advantage of that. Number 6, manage the shit out of your Patreon page. Just in case you're not aware of Patreon, and if that's the case, where the hell have you been? It's a relatively newish website that's been providing creatives on the internet a chance to make a decent living doing what they do. It's usually used in tandem with a hosting website like YouTube or DeviantArt or the like. The creator creates a page and offers rewards in exchange for a monthly or per product pledge of financial support. Standard rewards often include early access, exclusive content, guaranteed requests, and communication with the creator. Most YouTubers will have one, but distressingly often I see them being treated as an afterthought, especially if they don't believe they're going to get many pledges. So I wanted to make it abundantly clear here, as it's where almost all of your money will be coming from. Your Patreon page is at least as important as anything else you're doing, including the videos you're making. The people who run Patreon have a lot of advice on the subject of maximizing their services, and even used my friend Suede as an example not long ago when he ran his page so well he went full-time at YouTube at just 10,000 subscribers, so I will put a link to that in the video description, you should definitely check it out. For my part, the best advice I can give you is offer the kinds of rewards that you would want to get from your own favourite YouTubers. You would be amazed at how effective that is. I've also found that rewards that offer people a chance to be a part of the process in some way are usually pretty popular. In my case that was super win-win because I regularly need people's input on a book or film's popularity to know how to present them in each episode. So yeah, don't treat the rewards as a concession in exchange for funding. Think about how your patrons could actually help you. It's much more fun having more than just a fiscally rewarding relationship. And I'm not saying you would do this, but just in case, make sure you are putting in the time with the patrons you do get. It's very easy to take them for granted, but they will be the reason that you can live your dreams, so just don't forget that. On a less cheesy note, I would also highly advise against waiting for some sort of milestone to make your Patreon page. I know it seems pointless at first because you don't expect to get any pledges, but it's not like you have to pay upkeep or anything, and the sooner you start, the sooner you can start figuring out what sort of rewards and goals work best for you and your fans. Plus, even if you just get like $2 a month, that's $2 you didn't have before, so fuck it, why not? Finally, in regards to this, unless you're doing something that's super easy to make, like vlogs or let's plays, and you're putting something out every day or every other day, I would highly advise you to pick the per video option for your page, not the per month. For starters, you will get a lot more money out of it if you do it that way, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, it is invaluable to have an exterior incentive to get your work finished on time. Also, quite frankly, if you are putting decent effort and work into these videos, you do deserve to be rewarded for each one. It will also not cost your patrons any more than they want to spend, because it is super easy for them to put a limit on the amount of videos they pay for each month, so if you're worried about people paying more than they intended or you looking greedy, you just have to make that option super clear to them on your page and in your Patreon video. Number 7. It's going to be a more stressful experience for you if you are a woman. I hate that this is universally true to the point that I feel I have to include this here, and I wish there was something significant I could do about it, but the fact remains that women YouTubers have to put up with a lot more crap than their male counterparts. As this is the one section of this review that I, for obvious reasons, cannot speak from a perspective of personal experience, I've asked my friend Kate, aka That Movie Chick, to talk about her experiences in regards to this to prove I'm not talking out of my ass.
The struggles of being a female YouTuber is a venture I'm still working the kinks out of. What I can say is the majority of the comments that you will receive will be solely about your appearance. It can be a range of anything from the clothes you wear, your hair, the color, the style, the amount of makeup you're wearing or not wearing, and it's just endless that way. What is the other thing that you're going to be most critiqued on, or even mocked for, or accused of, really, is that you are a fake nerd. You're going to get that a lot. All about your appearance, or that you are pretending to be nerdy. And I have gotten people like, well, shouldn't you be, just feel so much gratitude for that people think you're beautiful. And it's like, but that's not what I'm working towards. I'm not a model. I'm not working towards something that I look like. I am passionate about film and storytelling, and that is what I want to discuss. I don't need to discuss what I look like, or how much makeup I'm wearing, or what little makeup I'm wearing, or what outfit I'm wearing. And it shouldn't matter what hair color I change to. What I feel like is a hard time for women is we are more so focused on what our appearance is rather than what kind of work we put into our jobs or our passions. And that's a shame.
So, all that, I have dealt with none of it. Not once in all my years of YouTube has anyone ever accused me of faking my geekery. Obviously, it's not okay, and hopefully one day we'll get past all this bullshit, but until then, I'm so sorry, this is the kind of crap you have to mentally prepare yourself for. I'm going to include the full-length version of Movie Chick's accounts and advice at the end of this video after the credits, in case you would like to hear more about the kind of challenges you'll face as a female YouTuber. Number 8. You may have to prioritize giving people what they want. At least at first. I know I said you have 100% creative control over all your projects, but that's not strictly true, at least when you're first starting out. This is advice that I formulated from seeing friends gain some success from a particular group of videos, but despite this, insisting on splitting their time evenly between that and their other passion projects and stunting their channel growth in its early stages. It's creatively frustrating to just concentrate on one audience-pleasing thing, and I'm not saying do it forever because then you'll burn out for sure, but at least for the first 20,000 subscribers or so, it's kind of necessary. Once you have an established following, people are way more willing to give other stuff a try and watch things that you make just because it's you making them, and then they often realize that they like these other products just as much. What I'm trying to say is, by all means try new things, but if you strike gold, mine that shit. Don't stubbornly insist on digging somewhere else just because you don't like staying in a single place. I did mention these were harsh truths, right? I don't like half the advice I'm giving, but it's genuinely what I've seen work for people or hurt them in the long run. Number 9, do not be embarrassed to remind people to comment, like, share and subscribe, but please do it tastefully. This is partly a human thing and partly more to appease the algorithm abomination, because in addition to regular uploads, the algorithm abomination likes uploads with a lot of audience engagement, which means a ton of likes, comments, and new subscribers. It really annoys me that begging for likes is something that YouTubers get mocked or shamed for all the time, because not doing it can be the difference between life or death for your channel. I swear to you, most watchers would be more than happy to show their appreciation for your work, but just genuinely don't think of it while they're marathoning videos. That said, just try not to be douchey about it, okay? Demanding people do it right at the beginning before the video has even started, or offering clearly bullshit incentives to do so is the reason it has a stigma now. Throw in a quick or creative reminder at the end and it will do your channel a world of good, and no one will have any right to complain about it. Okay, just before the last harsh truth tip of the video, here's a few minor points, warnings, and pieces of advice that weren't significant or wordy enough to warrant their own full number. 9.1. Research or seek expert advice on search engine optimization. Memorize those 3 words, my beautiful watchers, because they will haunt your whole YouTube career. The only reason this isn't the subject of like half the video is because I am not said expert and I don't want to risk giving you outdated advice. Basically, it means customizing the titles of your videos, the words in the description, and the tags you use to best manipulate Google and YouTube search engines to bring up your videos first when people search for stuff that's even vaguely related to it. The payoff for this should be fairly obvious. 9.2. Don't obsessed with going viral. For one thing, it's impossible to predict when it will happen, and on top of that, even getting millions of views on a single video won't necessarily guarantee you channel growth. It certainly won't hurt, but even if you have a super runaway successful video, there's still a good chance that no one will check out your channel after watching it, and even if they do, they probably won't subscribe unless they see a lot of other videos there that have done equally well. Going viral is like winning the lottery. It's undeniably great, but it's no guarantee of lifelong success, and if your whole game plan depends on it, you are so fucked. 9.3. Try to be advertiser safe. This has nothing to do with making money. You are probably not going to make any decent money outside of Patreon regardless. At best, on a really, really good month, less than a fifth of my income comes from YouTube ad revenue. No, this is, once again, about that pesky algorithm. Because they want to make as much money as possible, YouTube has been programmed to push monetized videos so much harder than videos that aren't or have had monetization taken away. That's why it was such a dick move when they changed it so that smaller channels couldn't monetize until they reached a certain limit, and why it's such a big fucking deal if your video gets struck with the dreaded, automated, and almost completely fucking arbitrary, not safe for most advertisers designation, because its views will be stunted after that, guaranteed. There is only so much you can do with this broken piece of shit of a system, but whatever you can think of to seem safe, friendly, and good for advertisers, just do yourself a favor and go with it, okay? And finally, number 10. You can do all of these things right, and it still might not happen for you. Yeah, a hell of a depressing thing to end on, but I've seen it happen so often I cannot in good conscience neglect to mention it. For a multitude of reasons, doing everything right on YouTube is not a guarantee of even partial success. It might be the subject you're really passionate about just doesn't appeal to enough other people. I'm subscribed to several channels that I think are run really well and have great content, but are just a little too niche to make it to the required popularity to go full time. It might be that your personal brand of charisma just doesn't come across well on camera, because that's a real issue. I have met people who I swear are the wittiest, most confident, most likable people in the world, but it all just evaporates when you point a camera at them. This is something you could potentially work on. I'm not an acting coach, so maybe camera shyness isn't the impenetrable wall it sometimes seems to be to me, but I mean, I'm suggesting throwing money you probably don't have at acting lessons, so it's not a great solution. It might be the now much bemoaned fickle nature of the algorithm tripping you up right away. Like I've said, it's really hard to know what that bastard thing is going to do next, even when you've been a part of YouTube for years, so starting out, it's like you're a first-level adventurer going up against a beholder, or some other equally nerdy D&D reference. It might simply be bad luck. I mean, that can screw you over in everything in life, and YouTube is no exception. What I'm saying is some things will ultimately be out of your hands, and you just have to kind of accept that. However, to counter all that gloom, I will say the longer you stick with it, the better your chances are of getting that big break. Your skills will improve with every video, and the more content you put out, the more opportunities to reach a receptive audience will arise. Trying to become a professional YouTuber is a gamble. It's hard work, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it's a lot of fun. If this is something you really want, don't let anything or anyone put you off, including this guy. Alright, I think that's enough. Again, I am sorry if I came across as an arrogant prick or an arsehole in this video. Dishing out harsh truths is not something that comes naturally to me, but I was determined not to sugarcoat. If you have any additional questions on this subject, feel free to put them in the comments, and if I think I can help, I'll make sure I post a response. Also, if some of you would be willing to go and leave some nice comments on that Movie Chicks videos that have nothing to do with her appearance, I would appreciate it, because, you know. And taking my own advice, if you would like to help me with the algorithm, throwing a like on this video or sharing it on social media does do wonders for that. Thank you for joining me, my beautiful watchers. I genuinely look forward to seeing some of your channels in the future. Hello again, my beautiful watchers. I just wanted to take this opportunity to give you a quick reminder that there's a wonderful website called Patreon that's been allowing online producers to actually make a living doing what they do, since apparently YouTube's decided that they shouldn't anymore. Basically, they offer the chance to pledge a certain amount of money per month or per video in exchange for various rewards offered by the creator. There's a variety of stuff you can earn by becoming one of my patrons, including early access to all videos and taking part in that survey you see at the start of every Lost in Adaptation episode. That's actually a very important part of the process, as I use it to gauge how much I'm going to need to explain about the book and the film before I start comparing them. If you decide to become a higher level contributor, your name will be added to the credits that you're seeing right now, and you'll be given the option to join my private chat room so you can regularly talk with me and other patrons. If you're keen enough to join the topmost tier of patronage, you'll earn the most coveted of all the rewards, the chance to pick a future adaptation to be reviewed by yours truly. However, if right now you are thinking, my goodness the Dom, I can't do that. A mysterious but handsome wizard wearing sunglasses informed me you're spending the money on a cannon designed to allow you to shoot puppies into the sun, and I have no reason to assume whoever that was making it up for his own amusement. Fear not, it would still be a huge help to me if you were to give that like button the old clickaroo, share this episode on social media with perhaps a little recommendation to your friends to check it out, and subscribe if you've not already. It really helps my channel grow and reach new beautiful watchers. I hope you have a most pleasant day, and I will see you in the next episode.
The struggles of being a female YouTuber is a venture I'm still working the kinks out of. What I can say is the majority of the comments that you will receive will be solely about your appearance. It can be a range of anything from the clothes you wear, your hair, the color, the style, the amount of makeup you're wearing or not wearing, and it's just endless that way. It'll rarely be about what you actually worked really hard for in your video. I have had a comment before berating me for daring to wear a turtleneck and not showing my cleavage during one of my videos. Yeah. I think my favorite comment was how I was told that I was too intelligent for YouTube videos, but too pretty for being an actress or a model, so I should go into porn instead. Yep. What is the other thing that you're going to be most critiqued on, or even mocked for, or accused of, really, is that you are a fake nerd. I don't see this happen as often with male YouTubers. It happens more often with female YouTubers. No matter what subject you are covering, you must be a fake nerd if you are combating somehow against this random commenter you've never met before. They will say anything really, that you have no experience, you've clearly never watched any of this TV show or movie, or you've read this comic book ever in your life. My favorite comment concerning that was when I claimed that Henry Cavill was miscast as Superman. In my opinion, someone said that I was a fake nerd and that I must watch a lot of Big Bang Theory, and that is where I get all my info from. I don't watch Big Bang Theory. My dad does, so I know what it is, but you're gonna get that a lot. All about your appearance, or that you are pretending to be nerdy, which baffled me when I was first doing this YouTube series, because since I was about 3 years old, I've been obsessed with film and storytelling of any kind. And when I was in school, from when I was 12 years old on to 18, I used to pretend or hide that I was into any kind of movie or TV show or book that was older than me, because people would make fun of me, and I felt like I had to hide that. And now that I feel like I can embrace my inner weirdo, or that the fact that I like films from generations that I was not really alive in, suddenly I'm just pretending. And it did upset me at first, but now I've learned to just go with the flow, basically. But that's not to say I have created this perfect sheen of armor around myself and that no comments ever hurt me. I follow the advice of Gabby Hanna, where she will only read comments in the first day of posting her video, because that is about as much as I can take. If I tried to read anything beyond that, the negative comments start to outweigh the positive, and it will get to you after a while. It is a very human quality to have, and it is not something that you should feel ashamed of or that you feel you have to just get over or ignore. I think that's really awful advice to give someone. You can't just suddenly say that their feelings mean nothing and that words never hurt. Just because they aren't spoken doesn't mean they don't hold any kind of power. There is a reason why there is that quote, "The pen is mightier than the sword." And for anyone who gives that advice of, oh, ignore the trolls, don't comment against them, don't even bother with it, you can't say that, because you can't ignore it. Because when you want to engage with the other commentators, with your audience, you do end up seeing some of those comments. No matter how many blocked words you add into your YouTube account, something is going to slip through the cracks. It's just inevitable. Every time I post a video, I do have that initial, oh God, that initial fear. But I do live with it because I have developed my own system of people to talk to and to discuss things with. Not to fix my problems, but someone that I can rely on. And that, I think, is very, very important. I don't feel like you should feel like you have to keep it all into yourself and to never talk about something that is bothering you. There's a difference between discussing something that has hurt you and complaining. And when you have a strong sense of community, it helps a lot. Because when you feel alone, especially when you are a YouTuber and you work partially from home or full-time work from home, it can be a very lonely experience when you are getting this barrage of negative comments. It can get to you after a while. And I can at least say that I have come across YouTubers and audience members of my videos that have been very positive and very kind, and I have made friends along the way. For me, it isn't that you ignore comments or argue with everyone on the internet. It is that you educate those you feel are willing to listen and to have a strong sense of community, someone that you feel will have your back or you can stand up for and they will stand up for you. That is what I feel really helps in the end, because you can't stop negativity in the world, but you can promote positivity. And I have gotten people like, well, shouldn't you be, just feel so much gratitude for that people think you're beautiful. And it's like, but that's not what I'm working towards. I'm not a model. I'm not working towards something that I look like. I am passionate about film and storytelling. And that is what I want to discuss. I don't need to discuss what I look like or how much makeup I'm wearing or what little makeup I'm wearing or what outfit I'm wearing. And it shouldn't matter what hair color I change to. It shouldn't at all. Hair is hair. Hair grows back. Hair can be any color you want it to be. What I feel like is a hard time for women is we are more so focused on what our appearance is rather than what kind of work we put into our jobs or our passions. And that's a shame. And there is only so much that we can change it. It has to be the whole community itself to change that. And yeah, so I may not have like the greatest advice, but all I can really think to say is just don't give up. Even when you get those horrible comments, just know you are not the only person who's getting those awful comments. So don't give up, because we haven't. I still don't have the largest subscriber count or the largest view count, but I haven't given up yet because this is what I love to do. I love to make these videos. I love to discuss movies. I love to write about them. I love to write about storytelling in of itself. So I'm not going to stop being me, and you shouldn't have to feel like you have to do that either.